actually seems like it's getting worse.
Yeah. Welcome to the Pirate Broadcast, where we interview interesting people doing interesting things, where you can expand your connections, your community. Kindness is cool and smiles are free. And let's get this party started.
You're frozen. There it is.
I know. I'm back now.
So I'm still a little dark. I promise you, I'm working on getting the lighting going here.
Okay.
Let's see if I can do this. It's not gonna help yet. So, network challenges during COVID-19 are a real thing. Like you could be on the computer.
Our internet is really.
Yeah, it's a real deal. Is that too much?
Yeah, no.
So it's a real problem, right? You can have everything ready to go.
Yeah, it's a real problem.
And then 30 seconds before, all of a sudden the internet starts to slow down, and it's like, okay, I'm old school. I believe that, if you're 5 minutes early, you're on time, and if you're on time, you're late, and if you're late, you just shouldn't come in. You know what I mean? So this is kind of embarrassing to have technical difficulties, but it's a real thing. The other thing that I was talking to my boss about.
It's a real thing.
Yeah, and I was talking to my boss about this too. Like I work from home now because of COVID-19, and so do most people. Yeah. I have kids, and it's actually, it used to be a faux pas to have the kids make any noise. Like you can't let somebody know that you have kids and all that stuff. Now it's actually kind of a rapport building thing. It's like we laugh about it, like, oh yeah, I have kids that I'm trying to keep quiet too. Anyway.
I have kids
too. Yeah, I'm a real person.
Well, I just. Yeah, we are humans. We are real humans.
It's crazy,
it's really
right?
Interesting for me to see how. Yeah, it's easy to see how. It's amazing to me. It's at times, and some of the infrastructure that's going on.
Yeah, so I think that's part
program, and it still depends on the internet.
Yeah, well, we have a large family. So I can tell you that at any given time, I've got like 15 devices on the internet right now, which is not normal. Pre-COVID-19, I would have like 4 or 5 devices on the internet at any given time throughout the day. And so our family is taxing the internet twice as much, 3 times as much as we normally do. Yeah. And if you just extrapolate that out, if everybody's using it 3 times more, it was kind of like what happened with the toilet paper. I don't know if everybody understands the math behind what happened, but they said that they had 100% usage, what was the normal consumption rate. And then I lost you. Hopefully you can still see me.
I'm back.
Okay. They reported that it wasn't double the usage. It wasn't 3 times the usage. It was actually 4 times. The economy started to purchase 4 times what. There was a run, obviously, on toilet paper, but there was a run of 4 times the normal consumption rate, and that's why they couldn't keep up. And, the internet companies and the providers, for the most part, I've never had a day where I was down for any time at all, right? I've had snafu glitches like this, but never, like I've not missed a meeting completely or been able to do, what I want to do. So they're doing a fantastic job. I don't want to complain. Guess what?
No, I'm not complaining at all. And in fact, Mel says I'm really fuzzy. Well, it's still early. I'm still on my first cup of coffee. So I'm sure it'll get better.
You poor guy. Last time I did this, hang on a second. I'm gonna twist it for just a second. So, in full disclosure, I'm using my work laptop right now, and I'm trying to restart my computer.
Well, we better give a shout out to your business now. You're in the printing business too.
Oh yeah, well I always do. ARC is my employer, and I'm in the print business that's how I pay my bills. A lot of people know me for other things. They know me for Project Help You Grow or or Bowman Coaching, or from now the social media concierge, which we're going to talk about, right? But I pay my bills printing, and I work for ARC, which is a wonderful company.
How has printing evolved in the last 10 years, Ira?
Man, we don't have enough time in a half hour, but I mean, realistically, there's a lot.
I mean, what are the two biggest things that really have made a difference?
The number one difference is people are doing more on-demand printing than ever before. It used to be that you would buy quantity to get volume discounts, and so digital printing has become far more common than before. And then there's the 3D printing, and I guess that's really we've taken printing off of the traditional materials and gone to pretty much anything. I can do prints underwater. I can do prints on, cement and brick, and so I mean every surface that you can imagine. There's really nothing that can't be covered, and so it's expanded what's possible. So what is possible has completely changed. And then for us in the digital world, because more and more people are printing smaller on-demand volumes, we're busy. We're super busy. Even with COVID-19, I mean, certainly there are a lot less companies that are open. So,
well, the thing that I've noticed that comes out of the print work right now is the floor stickers that are saying 6 feet away.
Yeah.
Huge. I mean, I see it everywhere. The ATM machines, waiting lines in the grocery stores, things like that. And it's one of those industries, Ira, that you're surrounded by printing and you don't necessarily notice it, right?
There's no doubt. So it's funny because so many people ask me on a regular basis, they say, Ira, nobody prints anymore. And I'm like, I know what you're talking about. You're talking about your little home printer and your pieces of paper, and you do that digitally. Yep, I totally get it. And I agree. I don't print at home hardly ever. I have two printers sitting over there that are like giant dust collectors. You know what I mean? I can scan, print, and copy. But we hardly ever use them. But we still have them. But that's not the type of printing I do. I don't print on paper hardly ever. Like I don't go out and talk about paper prints. When I'm talking about printing, I'm usually talking about some type of sign or graphic. That's what I focus on. Now my company does blueprints too, and we do a ton of blueprints. They're not really blueprints anymore, but that's what people know them as, right?
Right.
So they're called reprographics. They're called
architectural plans.
Architectural plans, right? And the spec books that go with them, right? Because we print more spec books than we do plans anymore. But there's you can't even get past your glasses, your shirt, everything has some type of printing on it. The packaging that you get, everything. Packaging is printing, guys. All the packaging in every product. I was trying to tell somebody that one of the risks with COVID-19 was that if we run out of ink, then every industry will shut down. And they're like, how does that, what do you mean? How does that correlate? And I said, it's simple. You can't have warning labels without printing. And if you can't have warning labels, you can't have anything, because we live in a sue happy world, right? You have to have the warnings, you have to have the directions, and they have to have pricing. And I mean, it's funny. I would love to one day just walk through any store or any building and point out every different type of printing. And then I could even educate people on how it was done if they want to get nerdy. But just to show people, like, this is actual printing, not the piece of paper or the business card, because that's what they're thinking. Like, I don't use business cards, and I do electronic invoices and all this stuff. It's like, yeah, great, but you still have printing everywhere, all around you.
You still have printing everywhere. One of the biggest impacts that I had or I was involved in is in the outdoor industry, where when they used to sections build.
You froze on me.
Artists paint those, all of that stuff and then they I lost. Am I here?
You're here, but you were frozen.
Am I back?
Yeah, you're back.
I can see you, Ira. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I'm back.
You were talking.
And so large formatting printing. Large formatting printing.
This is fun.
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you. But I heard like large format printing 3 times, and that was all I got. Large format printing, large format printing, large format printing. I missed all this stuff in the middle. So I think Russ is having some troubles. I'm gonna try and carry the show. Hopefully I'm still live. So let me talk a little bit about what we're doing. Okay, Russ is back. I was trying to fill in as host while you were gone.
Keep going.
I was gonna switch gears. First of all, I want to show people. I don't know if you guys
keep going.
Able to see, but I've got my Raider jersey on today for a couple of reasons. First of all, this is the Pirate Broadcast, and the Raiders are the Pirates of the NFL, baby. And for those of you who live under a rock because of COVID-19 and you don't know, today is the first day of the NFL draft, and I'm super excited about that. So the Raiders need a wide receiver, and the last really, really good wide receiver that we took that we've kept, like Amari Cooper. I loved Amari Cooper for the Raiders. He didn't get along with John Gruden, apparently, is why he wanted out. But Tim Brown, my favorite wide receiver of all time, is Tim Brown. And so I almost wore the Tim Brown jersey, but I wore the Charles Woodson jersey because our defense actually needs more. Our defense needs more help. So I'm wearing Charles Woodson today, number 24. So, anyways, I wanted to point that out and say hello to Nick Dorsey while I'm at it, and go Raiders. He's the only person I know who
Gabriel
roots for the Raiders.
Cowboys.
Yeah, Gabriel. They could just go away, but I don't really care about the Cowboys. I just like to give Cowboy fans a tough time because I used to live in Texas, and you did too. So that's kind of cool.
Very cool. Very cool.
So the other
thing.
So
what do you think the NFL is going to do?
Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know, because I think it's not prudent to get 60,000 or 50,000 or 100,000 people together. I think if they do that, they're making a huge mistake. And I don't want to debate, people and hurt their feelings, but I just think that's we've been stuck inside, staying away from each other for prudence, to mitigate the chance of getting sick and spreading this thing, and then we want to put people in stadiums, and it just doesn't make sense. So I think what's most likely is they'll play, but they'll play to empty stadiums, and they'll sell airtime on TV more than the NFL doesn't have an income problem like most people do. So the players might have to take a pay cut, the owners might have to take less. I mean, aren't we all? I mean, we do what we got to do to adapt and survive right now, but I think the prudent thing is safety. Public health and safety is the most important thing. But we do need sports. Totally. I think there's a place for sports. I don't want people to think that I'm anti-sports. I think, now more than ever, we don't have much to entertain ourselves and occupy ourselves other than, work. And I know that this is an underreported part of the story, is the mental impact that it has on people, the negative impact that it has on people, this isolation, and having some normalcy would be therapeutic. So I'm not a proponent of canceling seasons. I think that they need to figure out a way to play. I love the UFC, and I love what Dana White is trying to do. He's trying to figure out a way to get, the UFC going, and he's been actually kind of ridiculed a little bit for it, but I think he's on the right track. He's trying to do it in empty, arenas. He's not trying to bring in an audience. He's just trying to pipe it out, on TV. And I think that's the right idea. And I'm not the world's smartest person by any stretch. I'm sure there's plenty of issues, but the sports like tennis and boxing or combat sports where there isn't 25 people on the field at the same time, I think that makes more sense than football is actually probably one of the worst, because they've got so many players on the field at one time.
Yeah. Basketball is the same way.
Yeah. So basketball and football, I think, have a little bit more of a challenge. Even baseball to a certain extent, but they're spread out further. So that's maybe not quite as bad. But you do have like bases, when the runner's on base and
Yeah.
the fielder is there, so there is, they're closer together. But football is probably the worst, and maybe soccer too, right? They get so close, and there's so many people on the field.
Yeah.
So, anyways,
It's it'll be interesting to see how it evolves because hey, what happened? What would happen if we created a new sport where it was a 6 foot distance? It's or what
well,
about esports? Esports are huge,
yeah,
and I don't know if you could
esports
turn
has
it into
taken
a
off, and
spectator sport.
I don't know if you know what's
I
going
don't know
on
if you
with
could turn it into a spectator sport, but it might
well,
be interesting to see how that would roll out.
NASCAR is having simulated races, so they're counting the points for these simulated races. So they're getting in a video
Interesting.
game apparatus of some kind, and they're racing like it's a real race, and it's counting towards the real season. It, it's I'm surprised they're not putting these things on TV. And if they are, I don't know where they are. So they're doing a bad job at
I haven't
advertising
seen it.
if they are.
I
But
haven't-
NASCAR is a huge sport,
It's a huge sport.
and it's actually the one that it's ironic. It's the one that they most easily could do still because everybody's still in their car the whole time. Now the pit
Yeah.
crew isn't, but you know what I mean. The race, so it's interesting, but adapting to the new world, and this can tie this conversation together for everything that we want to talk about: printing, job search stuff with my Project Help You Grow,
Yep.
with the social media concierge. Everybody who's watching, the world is shifting right now as we speak. What the world was when we went into COVID-19 is going to not look the same as we exit.
No.
Even if nothing changes for you personally with your work and the way you want to live your life, the businesses that you are going to go patronage are going to have different guidelines and rules and regulations that they have to operate under. You're going to see, trust me, you're going to see lots of safety signage and health signage. I know because that's what I do for a living. I print that stuff. And so
Yeah.
we're printing it right now in droves. In fact, if you need somebody to print that stuff for you, reach out to me, right? That's what I get paid to do. But you talked about the floor stickers that you're going to see. You're going to see those
Uh-huh.
everywhere, but you're going to see stuff in elevators, right? Like
Mm.
we're putting those things down in elevators. We're putting up signs in windows. People are operating under different hours. There's going to be capacity rule changes. So some buildings that used to be able to hold 80 might only be able to hold 65 or 55 or whatever the new government regulations are. And that's the new reality. I'll tell you
Well, and
that
I think the other thing that we're going to see, Ira, is large businesses wondering, okay, I've been able to work for the last few months, everybody remotely, and this building isn't really necessary.
oh,
This isn't really, is it
did
really
you read my
necessary?
blog? Did you read my blog? So if you guys go to my profile on LinkedIn, the last blog that I wrote, the article they call them, is all
Uh-huh.
about that. It's all about that. And what's cool is some people want to work from home. And I'll give you a prime
Yeah.
example. So I think there's three things to think about with that, and I summarize this in the blog. There's the benefit to the employer, which is reduced costs, right? The overhead that you're talking about right now. I don't need this
Mhm.
office space. There's also a reduction in office politics because you're not putting these same people in the same space every day, right? So the distance helps reduce that. And also, the third thing, and maybe the most important, honestly, of the three, is employee retention. Because if you can reduce the drama and improve the quality of life for the employee, they have less reason to want to shift. And if you're saving money, you could put some of that savings back into salaries to pay better and
Yeah.
improve the employees' uh, overall experience, right? So higher employee satisfaction does equate to maintaining the employees, which means less onboarding costs, less training, less mistakes, better everything because your employees know what they're doing, right? So across the board. Now, from the employee standpoint, no commute means you have time back in your life. If your
Yeah.
commute goes from the freeway to the hallway, any minute that you save every day on both ends, the starting and the ending, what are we doing with our time savings? Well, I'll tell you what I'm doing. I'm doing social media concierge, which we could talk about in a second. But every minute that I used to use for commuting, I'm now using instead to work on nonprofit helping people get better. Right?
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing personally. But I also don't have to pay for gas. So I get to see my family more. I'm not dealing with the stress of traffic, which means when I get home, I'm in a better mood. And at 5:01, I could turn this computer off. I'm on my work laptop. I could turn this computer off and I could go outside, and you know what I mean? Right outside my door is my world. It's my wife, my family's right there. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So there's that. And then there's the part that most people aren't thinking about, and that's the government regulations and the rule changes. And it's look, if the government has less people commuting on the freeways, that means they have to spend less money on infrastructure. And in California, they pretty much are always behind on the roads. In Arizona too, I've
Right.
been there. Right? So it's always a challenge. But that means also what? There's less police that need to be, you know what I mean, in place, because there's
Yeah.
less people to
It,
patrol. There's
it
less
impacts across the board. It
yeah,
impacts
it's
almost
things that
everything.
people don't even think about, right? Like the
Yeah.
less all that stuff, less accidents, less people in emergency rooms. There, I mean, it's just across the board hard for people to understand unless they've really studied GIS and they kind of understand how all this stuff comes together. But for the employer, for the employee, and for the government, there are major advantages for increased remote work. And the thing that was missing before was the infrastructure. Now, look, obviously, we've been having internet issues, although it seems to be better now. Um, there are some things that need to be improved, right? But
Yeah.
they're working on 5G right now, right? So there are things, but most of us now have a system in place where we didn't before. I can work from home. I personally don't want to work from home all the time because I like to get out and talk to people, and I like to, engage and interact, and that's what makes me big on social media, I guess. But there are plenty of introverts out there that are like, this is the best thing ever.
Yeah. And and for those businesses that have office space and you want to go to the office, that's an option in the future. It's like
Well, there are
it
industries.
just opens up the possibility.
Yeah.
Those individuals that think they need to have everybody in the office isn't necessarily it's not the best outcome for everyone. So,
Well, we found out real quick.
Yeah.
We found out real quick who can work from home easily and who can't, because like the end of February, the beginning of March, there was none of this self-isolation was mandated, but some companies started to say, hey, why don't you work from home from now? And I was working from home before it was a state requirement. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
So there are roles in every company that can be remote, and then there are industries that can be completely remote. And some, like hospitality, obviously, think about who your essential workers are right now that are still going to work. Obviously, those folks need to be where they are. But then,
Sure.
the events industry and the entertainment industry and the hospitality and restaurants and stuff like that. Obviously, those folks need to be on site. But
Yeah.
a lot of sales organizations, customer service organizations, there's a lot of us that can do our roles. HR, some HR work. There's tons of things that can be done remotely, and so that's for sure going to stay. The number, I don't know what the number will end up being. If it was 1% of the population that was working remotely, I think it'll be 10 or 15% moving out of this thing. And if it was 10%, then I think it'll be 30 or 40. You know what I mean? And I have no idea what the numbers were before. I have not studied that out, so I don't know. But I know that the number coming out will be a lot higher, because there are people out there who will go, why should I commute anymore? Why should I waste? I don't know what you spend personally in commute time. You might not commute at all because of what you do, but I've
been remote for 10 years. So
yeah, I spend anywhere from an hour to 2 hours one way. Right. So if you say, okay, well, Ira, you could have 1 to 3 hours a day. Let's extrapolate that out. 5 extra hours a week to 15 extra hours a week. What would you do with that?
Yeah.
And then, by the way, you're not going to spend $150 a week in gas.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give you 5 to 15 hours of your life back, and I'm going to give you $150 in your pocket every week.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the direct impact. Plus the accident that I'm not going to get in, the car accident I'm not going to get in, the speeding ticket I'm not going to get, right? Or for me, it's the handheld. I'm breaking the handheld rule because I'm, fiddling with my phone when there's a cop behind me and I didn't see him. You know what I mean? So But that stuff all, you know what I mean? That's all, it's all
It
fruit.
all adds to the equation. It all adds
Yeah.
to the equation.
Now, a lot of
Hey,
people don't think about all this.
let's give a shout out to some of these people that are joining us. Ira, David Munford, thanks for joining us. Lori Knudsen, Angie, Shazad, Arcot, Russ, thank you for being here. Great name, by the way. And I love the fact that
Got any Iras on there?
here. What's that?
You got any Iras on there?
I don't see any Iras on here.
Yeah,
Any Iras in the room?
Yeah,
Dang
or
it.
just me. Well, I could get my son up for you if you want. But hey,
Yeah.
I know Lori. I probably know more of those people, but I'm staying off of LinkedIn right now because I don't want to slow down the internet. I just want to keep the broadcast.
And then Wendy's here. You know, Wendy is in the room.
Hi, Wendy.
And obviously Gabriel's in the room because he.
Yeah, the cowboy thing. Gotcha.
Yeah, and then Jill's here.
And Jill, I know Jill. Hi, Jill.
Yeah. So I know that as we wrap this thing up today with all the tech problems and all the things we're doing, I mean, this is part of where we are right now in history, and the circumstances that we're working through are going to evolve, and they're going to continue to evolve. And let's talk a little bit about savings on the road and the travel and the thing. Social Concierge, give us a snapshot of what that is, and so people can become aware of what it is.
Yeah, so there's a team of 6 of us, right? So I had this brainstorm about a month ago, maybe a little bit more than a month ago now. Yeah, I guess it was about 6 weeks ago. Anyways, the idea was, wouldn't it be cool if I could get a team of people that are doing some really good things, that are really good at what they do, in a team environment where we could help each other learn and develop skills, widen our skill set, so that when we're working, when you're doing the Pirate Bagcast, or when I'm doing Project Help You Grow, or whoever else is on the team, right? And I didn't know who would be on the team at that point, but I just thought, wouldn't it be cool if we could all learn a little bit more and be even better? So instead of taking somebody who's not very good at something and trying to help them get better, you know, so they're fluent, take somebody who's an expert level at something and help them take it even to the next level. That was the idea. And then with the COVID-19, I thought, well, you know, the people that are struggling right now because everybody's got reduced income or is worried about their income are the nonprofits, because they live primarily on our generosity as a society. So I thought, well, we could get the group together of these teams and we could work together on projects to benefit the nonprofits, and then everybody wins, right? So it's a feel good all the way around. And then at the end of it, we'll see what happens. So I said, well, let's do this for 8 weeks. And why 8 weeks was because I basically wanted to do 10 months or 2 months. I figured 2 months because of the way they were forecasting out how long this thing was going to last. I thought that, you know, we would ride out COVID-19 basically. So we're halfway in now. The team was set. It's been actually wonderful. So typically what we do is we break up into either groups of 2, people of 3, or we break up like we are this week. We have two groups. It's actually you versus me, buddy. Didn't do that. We didn't set that up for the show. That's just the way it worked, right? So we're doing team captains. It's Russ versus Ira this week. So you're going down, boy. But what we do at the beginning of the week on Mondays is we introduce the group. So this week we're working on Shoebox Ministries. They're in Arizona. Great organization. They're working to help bridge the gap between for toiletries and things that are important for people who are struggling financially.
Things that people don't realize that are not in state-run programs or homeless shelters.
You can't get it with WIC or welfare or any of these other programs, right? So like toothpaste and deodorant and soap, important for hygiene, which is important for confidence and everything else. You can't really can't be an active part of society if you're not brushing your teeth and combing your hair, and well, maybe you can not comb your hair, but you know what I mean? If you're not clean, it affects everything. So anyways, they're helping with that. So what we do is, you know, we introduce, the team captain introduces, you know, this is the group that we're going to be working on. Here's the assignments that we're going to be helping with. Like, we help people with communications and videos and basically getting their message out across all the social media channels, right? And then at the end of the week, we move on to the next. And so that's how it's been. It's been amazing, right? The information that we're developing is super cool. And that's what I expected. I mean, high quality stuff. So we're making videos, we're making Instagram photographs. We're helping people sometimes with their SEO
Yep.
content on their website. It really depends on the group and where they struggle, what their team is. One of the things that I've done for each of the groups so far is I've given them a training, because I do coaching, social media coaching. So I've given them, their team, a 2-hour training session at the end. Usually it's done on a Saturday, and that way they can continue to do or ride the momentum that we've created for them throughout the week. And anyways,
Yeah.
it's been an immense blessing for me. It's a lot of work. We're averaging somewhere between 50 and 60 hours a week right now per project, and that's divided by 6, right? It's not one person;
Yeah.
it's 6 people doing it. But anyways, it's a blessing for sure. The groups, some of them, they cry when
Oh yeah.
when we talk to them and we tell them what we're going to offer, just the fact that we want to offer. And these packages, we've not priced any of them out, but if we were going to be charging for them, the amount of work, 50 to 60 hours of a media company's time is a lot.
Yeah.
And then the products that we're giving them, they're evergreen. They can use these videos, and they can use these slides, and they can use these tips, not just for the week, but for the unforeseeable future. So it's a
Yeah.
huge impact, and it's called social media space concierge. So you put the hashtag and then social media space and then concierge, and there's a page on LinkedIn. You can follow us. We'd appreciate it, and you can see what we're doing. You can see the groups that we're helping, and you can follow them too, which we'd appreciate that too. A lot of these companies have they're nonprofits, so they don't have big followings on LinkedIn.
They don't have massive staff working on all
Right.
this stuff.
Right. So you would do it more as a favor, and to help spread awareness for, if you believe in the causes. Like we did Dallas Cat Lady the first week, and they're helping spay, neuter, and control the animals, mostly cats, in the Dallas Fort Worth area. And then we did Life Enabled the week after,
Brent.
and they're helping people with prosthetics, which is giving somebody their life back. There was a lady, we didn't make this story public, but there was a lady in the slides. She had lost her arm. Well, her arm was actually cut off by a group of bandits in Guatemala with a machete. They broke into her house, and instead of killing her, they cut her arm off. Well, the group, the Life Enabled, gave her her arm. Well, that she was right-handed. They cut off her right arm. So after the prosthetic, she's writing her name. She's signing her name with her prosthetic. And that actually made me emotional when I was building the artwork for them. And I didn't even know the full story. I figured out that she was right-hand dominant by the pictures, but I didn't know that she had lost her arm via a group of thugs who cut off her hand with a machete. So anyways, the following week, then we did Single Parent Advocate, and they're helping people, with low-income parents, try to fill the gap so that they don't have to be on welfare and some of these things, right, with assistance.
Yeah.
And it's not just, a lot of these groups are not helping just with the financial. They're also helping with the emotional and the mental part of it, right?
Yeah.
So it's a support group, and
they're building communities around
Yeah.
this subject. They're building
And-
communities around the whole effort.
it's had an emotional impact on me each week, the groups, and I didn't expect that. There were some of them because of my personal story that I knew would likely affect me, but I didn't know that Life Enabled, for example, would get to me emotionally, but it did, probably more than the others, because I wasn't prepared for it, if I'm being completely
You're
transparent.
unexpected.
Yeah,
Unexpected.
I thought, well, I can just be a
unexpected.
robot and do my work, and it won't impact me personally, but it really did. So anyways, we've got more.
It's some great work, and if you could go to the LinkedIn page and follow us, and make sure that that's out there. It's really,
and you can see the
really
whole team. The cover photo's got the whole team there listed. We've got our pictures, and you can see who's on the team. But it's me, and it's you, and it's Erica Warfield, and Joseph Stepke, and Virginia C. I can't say her last name. I always blow it. And Rob Detford is on the team. So so we've got video guys, we've got copywriters, we've got a lawyer, we've got a couple sales folks. I'm the resident artist, which is scary, but we're all contribute.
What it is, we're all improving our skill set, right? We're all learning from each other and understanding what it is and what it's required to take.
Yeah. So for example,
hey, Ira.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was going to say,
as we wrap up here, let's make sure that we recap and highlight anyone else we need to highlight before we wrap it up today.
No, I think we've done a good job explaining what Social Media Concierge is, right? It's right now, it's a group, it's a team that's working to help nonprofits as we develop our own skills. The one thing I will say is after the project portion of this is over, if you have an organization, for profit or nonprofit, that is looking for help, we are considering continuing this forward as a for-pay venture. So if you have projects, we're pretty much done taking the free part. The gratis part is pretty much we've got the groups in place for that. But if you need help and you're interested in hiring us, you need social media videos, you need help with your copy, you need lessons on how to run social media. As an organization. Yeah, we can. You can reach out to me or anyone on the team, and we can try and figure out what you need and get you a price estimate on that. And then we've got another 4 weeks to go of the nonprofit work, so we're really not ready to do it full bore right now. But we could take. It's called Concierge, so we do the full suite of social media service. But if you needed, help with a project, you need a video made, or you need a website developed, or something like that, we could help you out.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Ira. It's always a pleasure to hang out and have conversations that are, enlightening and educational, and sometimes fun to have just get together. And now that you're a 2-time pirate, you're in the next club. So it's like we got Joseph on Monday. So stay tuned for that. And I just really appreciate all the pirate community and everybody that's joined us and supported us along the way. And, look forward to tomorrow's show. And, as you know, kindness is cool and smiles are free.
Absolutely.
And you enjoy the day.
You too.
Thank you for joining the Pirate Broadcast. If you found this content valuable, please like, comment, and share it across your social media channels. I would love the opportunity to help others grow in their business. The Pirate Syndicate is a platform where you show up, we produce the show. It's that easy. If you want to be seen, be heard, and be talked about, join the Pirate Syndicate today.